Well, good afternoon and welcome to our ninth virtual webinar. This is Blair Marvin, Vice President of the Augusta Metro Chamber of Commerce. As you hopefully know by now, these webinar series are part of our Achieving More Together Today initiative. That is our holistic approach to providing information and being a source of education, connection, resources, and all of the information that we're trying to disseminate to our members. So not only via webinars, but also our social posts and our daily communications. Hopefully you're receiving them, referencing our website frequently, and finding the information valuable. We are so excited about our panel today on business innovation, adapting in an evolving environment. This our group of four that are here with us today. We have Frank Andrew, who's the president of Carole Fabrics. We also have Leighton Lunger, who's our manager of Profile by Sanford, joined by Dr. Chance, whom she'll introduce more during her session. Our third presenter is Havird Usry of Fat Man's Catering and Hospitality Group. And finally, Dana Keen Phillips of Keen Signs and Graphics. So thank you all for being here with us today. We look forward to the webinar. And with that, I will turn it over to Frank. Actually, real quick, before I do that, don't forget that you have an opportunity to ask questions through the question button of GoToWebinar. They will be filtered through for answer session at the end. And as always, the recording of this webinar will be available tomorrow. It will be sent via email as well as hosted on our website. So thanks again for joining us. And Frank, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Blair, and thank you for all of you who are attending. Just since Carole Fabrics has gotten involved with the Chamber over the last couple of years, it's just continued to be a wealth of information from our end and a ton of help. So I hope these things are helpful to you as well. One of the things that they ask that we do is what was our business like when, as of just a few weeks ago. If someone had said, in the beginning of February that Carole Fabrics, that we'd be converting half of our manufacturing over to make something other than draperies and making masks instead, I would have told the bartender to cut you off more than likely. But we've now made a big change. But in normal circumstances, Carole's been around for 60 years. And in this community, and for the better part of that, we have two parts of our business. One is shipping cut yardage to people, to designers, workrooms, things like that, all over the country. And then but the bigger part of our business is actually fabricating window coverings. So like these draperies behind me, soft window coverings, Roman shades, things like that. A lot of people have seen our Carole Fabrics building here for many years and just assumed that we were, weaving fabric or selling yardage and that kind of thing, like a Joann's, and that's not what we do at all. We're a manufacturing entity through and through. So in our normal part of business, we would normally be at about 300 employees. Of that, maybe 200 or maybe 220 between our warehouse and fabricating businesses. And the rest were admin, and then we have a national sales team that's spread around the country as well, selling to designers, national accounts, and that kind of thing. So what's changed in the last few weeks for us? Biggest change is nobody's buying window coverings. That's just not what people have been front of mind for them. And while we had some pipeline coming through, our business, we could tell was going to dry up at the time. We were actually off to a banner year because of some new initiatives and investments that we had made in our facility over the last year. But we saw very quickly some of our national accounts. One of our largest accounts is based in California and was one of the first states to be shut down and still not come back. So that's had a major impact on us. So, we're still working through pipeline, but one of the biggest things that we did was act quickly. We didn't just sit and kind of watch the thing happen in slow motion and react. We tried to be proactive with the things that we did, looking at what resources were going to be there for employees. It wasn't a matter of hoping that we were going to be able to keep all of our production people employed, that we just knew that wasn't going to be the case. But we sell a very premium product, and we felt that that was going to be going away. So we immediately, we were on the very front end of, as like FFCRA was coming out, I was bugging Sue all the time and Cal with questions about what is this going to mean, and how should we react, and CARES Act and the like. So a lot of the actions that we needed to take on behalf of our employees and for our business, we didn't wait until it was too late. We tried to be very prompt about it, and also very open with our employees as well, and trying to support them through this. We had very few layoffs. Most of the people that we have had to take action with, if that couldn't work at home, we've done furloughs so that we can continue to help them with their benefits and that kind of thing. But one thing that did start out, early on, really as a side project, we were having people asking us, could we do anything with masks, since we are, yes, a fabrication facility, but we do have a lot of sewing equipment and things like that, and could any of that be converted? And honestly, our first look at it was like, we're really not set up for this. We're used to things that are 6 feet by 10 feet rectangles, not 6 inches by 10 inches. That just, our equipment really wasn't set up to manage small pieces like that. But that's where innovation came into play. We started requiring our employees to wear masks probably over a month ago now. And it started out with, because we couldn't get masks like everybody else, we started out, one of our vendors, fabric vendors, also is a large manufacturer of bandanas. So I called him and said, hey, can you send us about 300 bandanas for our employees? So we were the drapery desperados for about 2 weeks, looking like we're holding up a bank or something, walking around the plant. But what happened was, one of our employees came up with the design that she made at home. That, in fact, I've still got mine here. This is still my preferred one, that she made, and she was taking it home and making for her coworkers, just as using the same fabric. And actually, the string on the side is from some of our lift cording that we use for our Roman shades. And I started seeing all these really cool masks around the plant, and asked where they came from. And they said, go talk to Hilda. She came up with a design, and that's easy to make and works really well. So once we saw that, and suddenly realized that that's something we could do on our equipment, particularly our cutting equipment that's all automated. It's just a matter of sizing the cuts down to make little squares instead of big squares. And so we were able to then start, and then came up with the design, worked through the process. Our first day, we made, I think, 150 masks, and we were pretty proud of ourselves. Donating them in what was going to be, to first responders and to some other people. And that's when I called Sue and as well, and Cal, and said, hey, if this starts picking up, can you start telling us where we need to how we can get these out, thinking we might be making 200-300 a day. But once the article came out in the paper and other things started happening, and we started developing more expertise, now we're up to almost 2,500 a day, and distributing them mainly around the CSRA. And I feel like we're just touching the surface, because I know there's so many people out there that are still looking for masks that don't know where to get them. But it's been a benefit for us. It's allowed us to pivot and keep people employed. We probably would have by this point taken half still of what we have out there now, in terms of if we had just been dependent on our window demand. But so far, we've been able to keep everyone who was not affected by the first furlough. We've kept probably half of our production employees on force, and on their days when a certain category, if top treatments doesn't have, if their incoming has dropped off, we'll just convert them all over to making masks and building up. And so far, demand has been strong. We've been just kind of living hand to mouth. We're just starting to get ahead of it. But in terms of what enabled us to be able to do this, one was assessing that need early on. Hey, is it something that we can do, and what's our ability to adapt to it? So, really had to put our heads together with the teams and say, think outside of the box, for outside of the ways that we have been doing things for decades here. What things could we convert over to a new way of doing them? Also leverage the creativity of our teams. It has been the people on the floor. Just for any of you who've ever been in manufacturing, you talk about Kaizen, where you're using, the knowledge base that you have of the people on the floor and observing that. That was, I think, a key thing here, was the people who, and giving them a new mission. Really, it wasn't just, hey, you still got a job. It was more of, we've been given a new mission and this is our task, and we hope you'll be here for it. Everyone is here by their own. We've given everybody the option, if they don't want to be working, particularly here in these last few weeks, they didn't have to. But everybody who's here is here because they want to be here and want to be a part of what we're doing. So I think part of that kind of motivation was also part of it. Also seeking out partners. We couldn't do this on our own. Some through our vendors. We reached out to a lot of them and said, look, this is new territory for us. Do you have fabrics you could recommend? And frankly, what we found was a lot of them wanted to get involved. They said, yeah, we've got a fabric you can use and we'll give it to you at cost because we want to be part of the solution as well. So, you know, again, it wasn't a vacuum here in Carole that did all of this. It was truly a village. And leveraging the other resources, like I said, Cal, Sue, Blair. You know, I was on the phone a few times a day with Cal, trying to, you know, looking for ideas and suggestions on how to go this new path. And then we've also, here in the last few days, we've even brought it. What we found is our biggest challenge now is just distribution of not a matter of us getting them out, but knowing where people need them. That's just not what we're about. We've got a lot of people that are reaching out to us for them. And I don't know the good ones from the bad, the legitimate ones from the illegitimate ones needs who are needing donations. So we talked to the United Way, and they're actually going to be issuing a press release tomorrow where now they're going to start a funding campaign for any of the people wanting to help for masks for people in need. They can donate to the United Way then and distribute, and then we just manufacture them on the back end. So that's taken a lot of pressure off of us. And so that awareness is what we've been seeing here towards the end, not necessarily to just drive a goal like you would normally do for your day in, day out products, but just to let people in the area know that, hey, if you need them, they are available. And because at the end of the day, we just want to be part of how do we get this behind us. And then the long-term impact quickly that we see coming out of this for our own business is, you know, first, people, most of our business is driven off of in-home visits, designers coming to your house, helping you choose, you know, looking at what you're trying to do in your home, and then how to select custom draperies or window coverings that go along with that. So what's called in-home shopping or shop at home has been something that has been growing in our industry for the last several years, probably the last decade. Well, now that's going to change significantly. That at least for probably, you know, foreseeable future, people are not going to be comfortable with someone, you know, soliciting someone to come into their home to do this kind of work. And so I think what we're seeing is that technology is now going to play a much bigger part on how do you reach into someone's home, how do you get to, you know, see these things, and how can technology help. And we're fortunate that some of our national accounts that we work with had already been doing this to try to get more better sales support to people that were in outlying areas where they couldn't justify having boots on the ground to go into someone. But I think that technology is now, you know, in a number of different industries, not just ours, is really going to come to play on how you interact with your customer and how do you become a better source virtually, not just in person. So, and then the last thing that's on our mind too is that a lot of our, probably the better part numbers of our accounts are mom and pop, small businesses who have a window shop or something like that. It's not just the Bassett's and the Smith and Nobles and those. We've serviced them too, but it's the individual designers. How do we help them succeed? So we can be making these things, but how, you know, they are not going to be able to go out and create this technology on their own. So how do we look at, you know, we're a B2B operation ourselves. How do we help them reach their customers, you know, better and help them maintain their small businesses? So that it's kind of put us into a different kind of line of thinking of what we need to do is we got to put ourselves in their seats. That we're not just providing them window coverings. We've got to help them create channels out to their customer base. So that's all I have. I guess from here, Leighton, I will turn it over to you. And you have a guest.
I do. Thank you, Frank. That was really inspiring to hear. And I love how you really, you know, asked yourself, how can I help? Not just how can I run my business, but how can I help the community? So my name's Leighton Lunger. I'm the manager of Profile by Sanford, and I'm going to let Dr. Kathy Chance, who's here with me today. She's the owner of Profile by Sanford. So I'm going to let her kind of explain what Profile is and why she brought it to this area. And then I'll share what we've done to transition during this COVID period. So Dr. Chance, I'll just turn this a little bit so they can see you.
Hi, yes, I'm Dr. Kathy Chance. I've been a practicing OBGYN here in Augusta for about 26 years now. And as a physician, Frank, I want to personally thank you all for what you're doing. I just can't express how much that means to us as physicians and community, because it is really true that we don't have the things that we need. I've been using the same mask at work now for 2 weeks and just sterilizing it and just trying to do the best that we can do. And so thank you. Keep going. We need it.
Sure.
So back to Profile. Yeah. So back to Profile. I, as a practicing OBGYN, probably one of the biggest problems that my patients run into is the desire to lose weight and get healthy and feel better, but there really aren't the resources for them to do that like you might think there would be. There's really not the accountability, not the coaching, just not the knowledge. And so the knowledge base in a lot of my patients was very lacking. And so for years, I've been trying to figure out how can I, as a physician, really help my patients lose weight, get healthy, feel better about themselves, and not return year after year just more frustrated that they still let another year go by without doing the things for themselves that they really wanted to. Because of time limitations, there didn't seem to be a way that I could see patients once a week or once a month or even once a quarter to offer that type of assistance. Plus, I really didn't have the education myself to be that type of coach that I was thinking about. So when someone introduced me to Profile, it just clicked. That was exactly what I was looking for. We are a coach-based, physician created and researched business where we do weekly health and lifestyle coaching to help people improve their nutrition, certainly lose weight, get healthy. We really try to develop a relationship with all of our members so we know exactly how to help them as individuals, and we've been very successful with that. We we started at the very end of October 2019. We were growing pretty rapidly until this hit, and that slowed down some. We are still continuing to coach members, and I'll let Leighton tell you more about that. But I'm very happy to say that as of the beginning of this COVID situation, we had our members had lost over 2,000 pounds just in those 4 months. So and they seem to be very happy, and we've continued to stay in touch with them. I will say from an owner standpoint, that we were, that I really tried to get on to the CARES Act so that I could keep our employees going and keep them paid. And we did receive our PPP loan late Saturday night. So I'm happy to say that that's going to help us keep going from a financial standpoint. But I've been very proud of Leighton, and our coaches have continued to work very hard. So I'll turn it over to Leighton, let her tell you what we're doing differently now than we were doing before.
Sure. So just to give you some more background about how Profile works. So when someone comes in and they're interested in becoming healthier and probably losing weight along with that, we sit down with them and we do basically a medical intake, and we talk about their medical background, their lifestyle, what goals they're looking to achieve. Maybe they haven't had good sleep in a long time. Maybe they just don't feel like they have the energy they used to. Maybe they want to lose 5 pounds. Maybe their doctor has told them they need to lose 150 pounds. So we service all different types of individuals. We help teens. We help moms who are nursing or thinking about becoming pregnant. So we have an awesome moms program. We coach those who are really active that just want to eat a little bit better and work on their macro breakdown and the foods they eat. So we have quite a realm of members here with us. We have 5 coaches that have certifications in health coaching, and they all have different backgrounds. So some of us have worked in, I personally have worked in a diabetes prevention program before. We have some that are personal trainers. We have a medically trained coach who has a medical background. So we have quite a different array of backgrounds as well within our coaching. So we sit down with that member and we find out what their goals are. If they have a timeline to achieve that, And then we actually give them a meal plan and we coach them through that until they reach their goals. So we meet with them every single week for 30 minutes. And so the biggest transition we've made is continuing to coach, just utilizing Zoom virtual appointments, which has worked really well. Like Frank mentioned, we didn't wait too long. We transitioned right away. We kind of had to just read the writing on the wall that things were going to change. So we got real savvy with Zoom right away, and our members have transitioned really, really well and really quite seamlessly into doing virtual appointments. We can coach members throughout the nation, in fact, throughout the world. So we just brought on our first member in Hawaii, actually. So it actually set us up nicely for the future in case we have more members who are in other states or areas, so we can coach wherever. We ship food. We also have set up curbside pickup because we do have a lot of foods here in our store that can supplement a meal plan and just help members to get to their goal. Soon we'll be rolling out an opportunity to just have coaching without the foods or just purchase the foods. We have a lot of members that come in and they're past that period of coaching and they just love our shakes and our protein bars and our pizza crusts and our high protein chips and just lots of foods that can help them reach their goal, but they don't need that one-on-one anymore. So we've been able to transition to figure out a way to still service our members wherever they are and still continue bringing on new members as well. You know, with weight loss and achieving a healthier lifestyle, it really is a lot about your stress levels and your mental health and your mental stability. So during this time, we've seen quite a few people who are just off their routine and they're home with their kids and they're trying to balance homeschooling with not having a job, maybe having some financial concerns. So we've really been happy about the opportunity to be able to work with our members through this period and encourage them and just give them ways to focus on what they can control versus what they cannot control right now. You know, it's difficult when you're making lunch for your kids in their home and you want to give them a sandwich and have a sandwich for yourself and them a treat and you a treat. And so we've given our members lots of tools to just figure out ways to manage when they're home. And you know, with lifestyle and health coaching, life is going to happen. We're always going to have obstacles to overcome. So this is just another example of when that happens in life. How do you handle it? Do you let stress just bring you down? Do you have a lapse and then a relapse and go back to your old ways? Or do you continue to push through to reach those goals, even in the midst of challenges like we've been in? So I've personally been encouraged by how many of our members have said, you know what, times are different now. This is really hard, but this is the best time for me to actually focus on my health. And I have this time at home now. Why not figure out a better way to meal prep? Or why not figure out how to get my kids involved in cooking healthy meals? So Profile Nation, we call it, across the nation has come up with a really cool idea called Quick Connect. And that's where we have a bunch of stores throughout the Southeast come together every Thursday at 5:30. This is our third one we're having this week, and we do different demos. So the first one was how to make our healthy profile pizza crust 3 ways. Last week we did a baking demo on how to make high protein, low sugar, different baking recipes. And then this Thursday we're doing at home exercising. And yeah, maybe this period of being home will end soon, but these are great ways to continue on. You know, if you're not able to get to the gym, there are ways you can work out at home. So we'll probably continue these series even after we're back in our stores. So it's just really equipped us for, you know, in the future, something else like this may happen. And so we know that we need to be ready. You know, even in our store, we have a downtime binder. If all of our internet and power goes out, we can still run because we know that those things are just inevitable. And so we have been really happy about being able to provide those different options for our members. Something that we came up with right away is a Google form where the member can actually submit their food order through a free Google form, email that to us, and we can get their order ready, have it at the door. We've put little cards in all of our boxes of food just to encourage members and to tell them, you know, your health coach is here for you. So if there's anything we can do, let us know. And so I think we've been able to really connect with our community. And just something I'd love to share, if any of you all listening have friends, family members who are going through, health concerns, weight is almost always tied to that. And so we encourage you to send them our way so we can help. Like I said, we can help them if they're not local, but there's stores all across the nation. So it's hard to not find a profile near you, but we're just really excited to be here. We'll be opening 2 more stores in the future here locally. So we're thrilled to be a part of the chamber and appreciate the way everyone's just connected with us and helped us.
Real quick, Leighton, there was a question that came through. I know we said we're going to hold questions to the end, but since you're just coming off, a question came in. Are you doing these intake appointments virtually as well?
We are right now. So we've done virtual onboarding, we call it, where we can reach out to that potential member and schedule a virtual call and see each other just like this, email them documents. We can share our screen to show them different tools. We can discuss how the program works in full virtually. We can even walk around the store and give them a tour with our phone. So yes, absolutely. We're still scheduling new members virtually. And depending on how Georgia transitions here in the next week, we may be able to bring members back into the store here very soon as well.
We're really set up to kind of maintain social distancing, because when you meet with your coach, you're in a room by yourself, kind of with your coach. You're not with a bunch of people. And the way the appointments are usually scheduled, there's not usually more than 1 or 2 people out in the area to waiting to come in with their coach. So it lends itself well to social distancing.
Okay, well, I guess the next person I think I was asked to, Havird, you're next.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. I'm Havird Usry with Fat Man's Hospitality Group, which encompasses Enterprise Mill Events, Fat Man's Cafe and Catering, Snowcap Drive-In, and also the Southern Salad down on Broad Street. I'm not going to go into each of those entities, but pre-COVID, we were about 85% catering and events between all 4 entities. So you can imagine pretty quick when they closed dining rooms and also shut down all weddings, rehearsal dinners, corporate events of that nature were affected pretty quickly. Our staff, total, we were at about 38 staff members when this all went down. We're running pretty skinny right now, about 15 employees between all 4 entities, maybe give or take a few servers here and there at Snowcap. But when this broke, we prioritized quickly. I mean, obviously, all of us on this webinar were in the same boat, but my priority was number 1, our staff, which we consider our team members and family. Number 2 was our customer safety. If we were going to keep operating, how are we going to operate, and how are we going to operate safely and put food out the door quickly? And then number 3 was really our business. Can we tread water through this? Can we make money through this whole situation? So first, with our staff, we held all key team members, and we told them right away. We sat down and said, y'all are going to be playing different roles. If you're a salaried employee who was an event coordinator, you might now be masked up with gloves on and plating individual plates next door in our event space that has provided to be our large cafeteria during this time. And everybody was on board with that very quickly. For the other folks that we had to furlough, we worked endlessly to make sure that they received assistance and unemployment benefits. Largely, I've been very, very proud of our team and how everybody's adjusted to that. I would say if it's proven anything to me, it's been a great filter of our team to see how folks are going to react during adversity. But it's proven that we truly have one of the best teams around us. And I would essentially go to war with any of these people that are still around me serving food every day, because it's not easy work at all. And I'm also proud to say that these folks that we've kept on, we've paid in full, and over the last 4 weeks, we've actually given some bonuses out for these folks who have stayed on with us. So, we're proud to be able to do that. Second is, our customer safety and food safety. Off the bat, we knew this wasn't a foodborne virus, but there is some ways that it could spread, whether it's through droplets on different containers, maybe even ready to eat food. So we wanted to make sure that we were taking the proper precautions if we were going to be putting out these plates for healthcare workers, for families, even folks who are still coming in to pick up inside the restaurant. So initially, we went through all CDC and Georgia Restaurant Association guidelines. We came up with a plan. Without all those specifics, we're still trying to follow all those guidelines to this day, which we're going on a month now of these processes and procedures. We've stuck with we used to cross-utilize a lot of staff between restaurants and for catering and events. We've tried to stick with the same 3 teams at all 3 restaurants, just so they're going home to their families, they're being exposed to other atmospheres. We want to keep the same groups in the same restaurants through this whole thing. We've also gone to all single-use condiments, single-use cutlery, to-go trays. Everything is as single-use as possible, which has been very difficult. Just like y'all talked about masks and things, the supply chain for those items have been very, very tough, because some of these manufacturers have been shut down due to the virus. We have team meetings every Friday that are just reiterating these same things about sanitation specifics and any new details that are coming out, especially like today or yesterday when the governor was releasing some new things, which I'll get into in just a minute. But we try to have those weekly meetings and daily texts that are really reiterating sanitation specifics and details for staff. And lastly, is our business. At a couple of our entities, we were set up really well for takeout and delivery already. We were set up with online ordering. We had delivery drivers. So I felt blessed that we were already set up with those things to at least keep some sort of cash flow through the stores. But initially, we just wanted to identify, what would be in demand when this all broke. We sent emails. We targeted social media-wise specific businesses that we thought would still be catering, mostly large manufacturers and healthcare. Actually, a shout out to the chamber here in Blair. Our first couple weeks, our first big jobs were with Textron and EasyGo, which we were connected through Blair. So we've fed hundreds of people the first few weeks that really kept some cash flow coming through the business. So thank you to the chamber for that. It's nice to have those connections. We discounted all catering that were going out to our frontline workers. So we saw a lot of donations and sponsored meals coming in, and we wanted those people to be able to use those funds for as long as possible, not knowing how long this would last. So we discounted meals down as much as we could, with margins that we could still survive on. And that stuff's still coming in, which is nice. I think folks were a little nervous in the last couple of weeks that some of those donations and things would stop coming in, but just today we fed over 350. I think we have about 500 meals going out for just healthcare workers tomorrow. So those things have kept rolling pretty well. We created several new menus for this. One of those that has gone over really well is our family meals. So between single families, these are these are meals that compose pretty much of a meat, 2 sides, bread, and a salad, feed about 6 people, and families can just come and pick them up. So between, single family orders and also sponsored meals, we've averaged about 100 of those a week. So about 600 meals total per week with those family meals out of each restaurant. So something we've never done before, another tool that was just kind of created amongst this adversity. Every day I feel like has just brought on new challenges, and we've just kind of gone day to day in this new world, especially in the restaurant. And we're just trying to keep our eyes up for different catering opportunities. And like I was saying, this situation has really created new tools that I think will not only be here during this whole COVID situation, but we also might be something that we can utilize in the future, which is pretty neat to be able to create those things. And as y'all saw yesterday, Governor Kemp has allowed for to open up some of these limitations. He's allowing restaurants to open dining rooms potentially on Monday with some limitations. I just got off a call this morning with the governor's office and Georgia Restaurant Association. I will say overwhelmingly that everybody thinks in the restaurant world this is very premature. So we're all just trying to take a step back and make sure that we do the responsible thing and make the responsible decisions. We're currently waiting on Georgia Restaurant Association guidelines that are going to come out tonight by midnight. So we're just going to wait on those, sit back, and make sure we're making the proper decisions, the responsible decisions, which, it's good to have that freedom, I feel like, from the governor, but at the same time, as business owners, we've got to make sure that we take the proper steps and make the responsible decisions for our employees and also our customers. So yeah, that's how we've adapted over the last month.
All right, nice job. That's fascinating. So Dana Keen Phillips, a late ad, but we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
So you're on.
Thanks. Well, like you said, Dana Keen Phillips with Keen Signs and Graphics, downtown Augusta. Keen Signs and Graphics was started by my father, Leighton Keen, in 2010. Actually, when we were kind of still suffering from the 2008 recession, the manufacturing facility that he was a manager at closed, and nobody was hiring at that time. Everyone was just kind of trying to take care of their business, not looking to expand at that time. But my dad needed to work. So instead of just kind of waiting around for that recession to finish out, he decided to hire himself, and that's how Keen Signs and Graphics came about 10 years ago. So those of you who maybe are listening, maybe you're not working right now, take that story to heart, that you start your own business. And yes, it's crazy to maybe do it during a recession, but why not? So Keen Signs and Graphics mainly sells signs. We do ADA braille signs, yard signs, directional signs, vehicle wraps, any type of signage that you might see at different businesses or other graphics out and about. We handle those. But as the virus started to pick up and events were being canceled, businesses were closing or shutting their doors temporarily, people were kind of starting to watch their money a little bit more. We could see a shift in the calls that we were getting. And so we thought, okay, this is the hand we were dealt and where we are. What are we going to do? So we had different team meetings talking about what was going on, what we wanted to do. And we're part of a lot of sign groups throughout the country, and we were seeing that people were starting to manufacture sneeze guards. And we thought, oh, well, we have the equipment to do that. We have our router that cuts cuts down the large sheets of material into the smaller custom sizes or into the custom shapes. That's the equipment that you use to cut the sneeze guards. Material is what we use to make the ADA Braille signs. Hey, well, let's do this. It's a need that there's in the community for the businesses that are essential, that are still opening, that still have some of that face-to-face interaction with customers. This is a great way to help them give an extra layer of protection while they're out there interacting with each other. And so we did some test pieces, set them up. They worked great, and so we emailed all of our customers in different types of industries, the restaurants, the medical facilities, all kinds, and word kind of spread, and we've been getting the sneeze guards out. Getting them out to everybody to help keep that extra layer of protection between everyone. Our staff has been on board with this. We talk together frequently, like, okay, if your area is maybe a little bit slow today, let's go somewhere where you not normally worked, like Hab was saying, and help them out. So sometimes those of us who are in sales or maybe out on the production floor helping to finish the sneeze guards or get some of our other signs out, and just trying to take it day by day to help the community with the needs that they're facing, either with the sneeze guards or communicating their different operating procedures. We've had a lot of the different manufacturing facilities switch the way that they are allowing their employees come into work. So we've gotten the signs out for them to communicate with their employees, and a lot of the restaurants that are doing curbside pickup need signage to help get the orders to their customers. So we've just trying to stay on top of getting the needs that our customers have to them and in a safe manner. Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. I think if we have any questions that have come in, Frank, I'll let you go ahead and ask those.
I don't have any more since the one for Leighton earlier, unless Sarah is sitting on them and not sending them over.
Okay, while we're waiting to see if any trickle in, I'll go ahead and first of all, thank you all for joining us today, for being with us. Had great information, inspiring stories, and we look forward to continuing to patron your businesses. Hope that you'll make plans to join us Thursday, where our very own Sue Parr will be bringing information on what the Chamber has been doing and will continue to be doing for you all, specifically as it pertains to dues relief and recovery options for the remainder of the year. So we hope that you'll join us Thursday at 3 for those important updates. And Sarah, I'll just ask one more time if we've had any more questions trickle through.
We have not. There are no questions currently.
Can I share a comment?
Yes, please.
So Keen Signs did our beautiful profile now open sign outside, and it was just excellent customer service. I mean, y'all were out here immediately, and we just love it. We've gotten so many people that started coming in once they saw the sign out there. So we really appreciate your service and you supporting us.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, and I did think one thing I forgot to mention, we are also able to install permanently mounted sneeze guards. So a lot of people want portable ones that you can just place on your counter, or ones to hang from the ceiling. But if you need it custom manufactured and installed onto your counter permanently, our machine shop is able to develop the hardware to install it and then come out and put it up for you as well. So they're not all just portable, but we can also do them permanently mounted.
Great, good to know, and thanks for all of the great information. We look forward to continuing to support one another. If you do have questions, you can just send them to Sarah or myself and we'll get them answered for you. And otherwise, we will see you Thursday. Talk to you then. Thank you and have a great afternoon.
Thanks.
Thank you.